All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Horror Syndicate special presentation. I guess this is, we're going to talk about the Halloween Kills trailer a little bit. Unfortunately, our dear friend Seth cannot make it. And he really wanted to. Um, but we saw the trailer last night. It knocked my socks off. As you saw, if you watched the reaction I did, sorry that there's no audio, but last time I had audio from a trailer, Facebook was being a jerk. So. Got Nathan with me. He is a Halloween expert. Uh, loves the trick or treat. Even at our age, we both love the trick or treat, right?
Yeah.
So, what'd you think of the trailer, man?
It's pretty much what I expected it to be. I'm still a big defender of the first one that David Gordon Green did. I think he gets it. It was, I think, the best Halloween film we've seen since the 80s. And I expected pretty much this to be on the same level. And so what I expected was kind of what we saw, which is now they're aware, everyone's aware of what's there, and people are going to be full of fear and also wanting revenge or wanting to deal with him, and the mob mentality coming out. The people who don't understand of the supernatural element of this shape. They're just like, there's a man out there and he needs to die, and we're gonna go kill him. And and then what I see more of is that idea that I feel that Green was going for, which was that the shape is. He has no motive, really. He's just this motorized, evil, randomly murdering people. So just this thing that's out there, if he comes across you, you're probably not going to make it. So
like a hurricane, man. No matter what's in its path, it's yeah. That the biggest complaint going into the 2018 movie for a lot of people was it not being related to Laurie Strode. But now we get a completely different version of Michael Myers that we, kind of saw in the first movie. I mean, it seemed like in the first movie he did kind of have he picked a certain group of girls, or picked the one girl and was messing with her all night. But this movie and the previous movie, Halloween Kills, in the previous movie, 2018, dude, it's the most brutal we've ever seen Michael Myers. First of all, which is awesome, and it's different from what we got. And I've been like, I keep saying every time I watch it, it gets worse. Well, I watched the trailer last night for Halloween Kills, and I had a great reaction. And then I watched Halloween 2018 again immediately after, and just like I've been saying, we did a Halloween Kills theory video last year sometime. I can't remember exactly. And I said that I think this could enhance the way I feel about 2018, and just by the trailer alone, it already is. I'm excited about this movie quite a bit.
Yeah, we're going to get a good trilogy here, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah. And the trailer alone, like when I started watching, I was like, oh shit, they're going to show too much, because they showed him how he escapes. I like that they did that. And that's one of the other complaints I keep hearing is, did they show too much? What do you think about that?
I can see that argument being made, but at the same time, I don't feel like I saw anything that I couldn't have expected myself. Like, there's nothing like, oh my God, they did this. No, I was like, yeah, that's pretty much how I expected things to go. Like the fire department, we saw in the other teaser that the fire department are on their way there. So naturally we know that that's how he gets out. And it makes sense. Like the guy falls to the floor. Okay, that's how they are aware that someone's down there, or they're drawn to attention down there. And of course, he's going to come out and kill his way through everything, and and then he's just going to be on the loose again, at large. That whole great Elrod thing. He's believed to be at large in Haddonfield now. The shape is back on the streets. And it looks like he's going house to house. I guess it looked like I don't know if it was an older couple or a nurse taking care of an older couple, but the murder that we see in the home invasion, where he uses the light fixture and breaks it and stabs somebody. This I really dig that element of. I mean, it's kind of like Jason, but not Jason, because Jason would use different things, but like the fact that Michael's just grabbing a hammer, grabbing a knife, whatever he has to do to murder, and that's just what he does, is just continuously just butchering people, and who knows, he goes to the next house, does it again or whatever, like that's kind of, and now he's being hunted by not Loomis but Laurie and probably the mob.
The town. I mean, you saw a lot of that.
Doyle.
There was a scene in the trailer where Karen, her daughter, is holding the mask. It's funny. Earlier in the trailer, you see there's a point where it looks like he's walking without his mask on. I don't know if you noticed that, walking through somebody's yard. And I'm like, he looks, his head looked thinner. I'm like, he doesn't look like he has a mask on. And then here she is holding it. You want your mask? I really fear that she's going to die because I really like her character. She like Laurie's madness. She brings some like level out to that Laurie's madness, even though now she's she believes her mom, and so does her daughter. Which there's a great line at the very beginning, the boogeyman is real or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited because in Halloween 2 from '81, which is probably my second or third favorite Halloween. I kind of go back and forth between that and 4. You got to see a little bit of the aftermath of the mob mentality and all that stuff, but this you're seeing not only the aftermath of what the town's doing, but Michael Myers' aftermath. He comes out of that burning house. I mean, just oh my God, that was brutal. And then I guess he just proceeds back to house like he was doing in 2018, which was one of the coolest parts because there were some great shots in 2018's movie that I sometimes forget about. That like the lady with the phone and was that a oneer where he goes to the garage and goes all the way in the house and that's a great shot and we're gonna see more of that. Was that Borat's wife that got killed with the light bulb? Because I watched that Lunel, or I think that was her name. That he marries after she was a call girl.
I don't know.
I just watched that recently. I was like, that looks just like Borat's wife. I could be wrong. I don't know.
When do you think we'll get the preview of the soundtrack?
September,
probably
August.
Like a couple weeks before the movie, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know, but I mean, the score from Halloween 2018 was phenomenal. That was not my favorite part, but one of my favorite parts about the movie. It was really, really great.
It was good.
So I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. God, yeah, so much brutality. That one scene where he's that we were just talking about with the light bulb, which I think is going to get a lot of. God, I can't believe the brutality they put in the trailer.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of like the light bulb, and then, or the the concrete saw that the firefighters break out turns on them, and this is and again, like, this movie is not going to waste time getting right into it. It's going to be like Halloween 2. I think a lot of people like Halloween 2 because it's just almost wall to wall carnage, and this one I think is going to be even more amplified in that, where we don't have to ease into anything like from moment one. And that's something I really liked about the original part 2 was when we just start right in the alleyway from Michael walking around after being shot and going to the Elrod house and Loomis looking for her. Like, it was just, that was exciting that, all right, it's not over. We're still in this night and we're going to see more. So I like that. I almost hope that the whole trilogy all happens within that same, like, I imagine it is like,
I think it is
one long night kind of thing would be really cool. Cause just imagine that marathon, watching all 3 films as a one single night thing. Like, that could become like a tradition of Halloween. Cause when you watch part 1 and part 2, that's kind of how it is. You feel like you're watching one 3-hour movie instead of an hour and a half movie. And that's one of the things I've always loved about Halloween 2 is that it's like we haven't left, even though it's years later. And so I think that this movie's going to have that feeling, and to bring in, Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace, and isn't Nancy Stevens in this one? Is she supposed to be in this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Charles Cyphers as well is in there.
Yeah,
so,
which I don't think I got a glimpse of unless he's the one Michael killed in that house.
I don't know.
He's bald now, but he had, because the guy had white hair. But I'm like, I hope that's not.
I don't know because they show him die, so I don't know if they would give that away.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the images of Michael walking around, and again, I love that. Again, we've got the original sort of original Shatner mask, so this moves like Michael Myers, of the character we all knew, and again, I think just David Gordon Green gets it. It's the most exciting Halloween movie. Again, I mean, I've seen since the 80s. I still like that movie, the 2018 movie. I like what they did with it, and I think he's a good filmmaker, and I never had any doubts that this was, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just expect to be an enjoyable movie. I don't put too much into it because I am a Halloween fan, but hopefully we're in theaters. I guess we will be in theaters because, like I said many times, I was just working with a young guy who's 26, 27 years old, and it came up. We were working on the new film we were sculpting the other day, and it came up that how exciting it was to go see movies that he'd missed out on that thing. He told me I missed out on all those experiences you guys had, but I love Myers. I love Jason. Like he talked about how much he loved the Jason remake because he got to go see it in a theater. It was probably his first Jason movie, in a theater, and absolutely loved it. And so he just kind of validated that to me. Like, we don't care what my generation thinks. Like, a whole new generation is going to get to go see these Michael Myers movies for the first time with everybody and experience it the first time with collectively, just like Chucky and all these characters are coming back to theaters. They get their opportunity to witness because sadly enough, a lot of the characters that come out today don't perpetuate like those characters did. But these kids have grown up because dad loved them or big brother loved them or uncle loved them and introduced them to them. And now they're getting to just remember the hype and how fun it was when a new Halloween movie came out when you were a teenager. And now teenagers and young people are getting to live that now. And they're getting damn good films from a good filmmaker. In my opinion, they're not.
Arguably,
a lot of the movies,
arguably better.
Like a lot of the films we saw were shitty movies, and some of them, made by some directors who didn't really care about the product.
They're just hired for the job, and David Gordon Green's admitted Halloween fan.
Yeah.
So is Danny, what's his name?
McBride. Yeah, they're legitimate fans, and it's all over it. I mean, we see the Halloween 3 masks pop up in the trailer
was awesome.
again.
Boy, that meme is circulating like crazy. It's great though. Yeah.
And then the first movie had all kinds of homages to the whole entire series. We got scenes that were right out of H2O or Resurrection or a Halloween 4 or 5. I thought I saw some moment like there's a scene in the trailer that looks like Halloween 4 with the inside of Meeker's house with the shotgun. And it kind of gave me some echoes of that.
I even said, "Is he going to jam the shotgun up somebody like cops do by the book?" I saw a couple things. I mean, there's a scene where he palms the glass like he does in the first movie and breaks the on the car door, which I thought was cool. I was like, "Damn, that's a callback to the first movie." I think you're right. He gets it. By the way, I showed my son went and saw Halloween 2018 with me. And he didn't care about it back then, but he watched it last night. I was like, "Man, that was awesome. Can I go with you to see this new one?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." He really liked it, and so did Helena. I let them stay up a little late to watch it with me, and then we watched the trailer again. And boy, it's good. I think you're right, man. I think it's going to become a new Halloween tradition to watch the new trilogy. I do think it's going to last for the entire night. I hope they don't end this movie and then do a time jump with Halloween Ends. I do hope it's all one night. And unfortunately, I do think we're going to lose 2 of the 3 Strode women.
We have to lose somebody.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be one of them. But I don't think it's going to be this movie. I think it's going to be the next one. Because if you notice where she is throughout most of the trailers, it looks like she's in the hospital, just like Halloween 2. I think going back to 2018 for a second, though, I do think I saw a little bit from every Halloween movie too. But and then going back to what you said about getting the hype around, I remember the hype around Halloween 6. I love that movie. It's not good though. It's like we got hyped up for these movies that weren't that great. Halloween Resurrection hype was through the roof for me, and it wasn't a very good movie. So I think Halloween 2018 is a well-made movie, and this is going to be a well-made movie, and it's going to be a great story. We're going to get this. This I think is going to show a lot of brutality for the gore hounds. A lot of blood, a lot of man. He's slamming everybody around in this movie. Sticking freaking fluorescent lights through people. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even 2018 was. I mean, that's like when you see the kid's dad, his neck's all fucked up by the bus, and killing the child. It's something we didn't think would happen.
Yeah, I know. Did you think that this movie will rival brutality? I think it'll be more brutal myself. It already looks. It looks. I thought the most brutal Halloween movie was the Rob Zombie film from 2007, and just this trailer alone looked like it's going to be the most brutal Halloween ever, which I'm excited about. And Nate saw a comment yesterday that somebody said that they're turning him into Jason. Listen, Michael Myers has been around since before Jason. They turned Jason into Michael Myers, in my opinion. But yeah, I think this is going to be so brutal. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a fun ride. Seeing a lot of characters from the past. Tommy Doyle, even though it's not the original Tommy Doyle, he's got that bat at the end. That's a great shot with him with the bat. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a beautiful film too.
Like I can buy Anthony Michael Hall as a grown up Tommy Doyle.
Sure. Yeah.
More than Paul Rudd, really. Yeah, he's definitely more. He's more on the Brian Andrews side than Paul was, but he's also an excellent actor who I've missed. Grew up with Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So to see him in there is also very exciting to see him return to. Hopefully he's pretty predominant in the film, and hopefully he's like a new lead in some ways.
He's such a good actor. He's still a good actor. I mean, I don't remember the last thing I saw him in, but he's still a pretty good actor. So that'd be cool to see him. And I don't know how well the Lindsay Wallace, whatever her name is, I can't think of her name.
Kyle Richards.
Yeah, I mean, she's a true housewife of whatever.
Yeah.
But it'd be cool to see them have kind of inflated roles. I do feel like Lori and Karen and Allison, is that the youngest one's name, are going to be in the hospital a lot of the movie towards the end. And I mean, just based on what I saw, I think there's going to be a little cat and mouse between Michael and Allison trying to get him out of that house, because the straight path to his house it sounds like he's trying to get back to his house now. Did you catch that line?
Yeah, they say he's making a direct path to his childhood home.
Yeah, so why would he go to his house? That's my question.
Well, we'll find out.
Would you rather have Jordan Peele or Jordan Peele? Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele is a phenomenal director. He's got a great mind for the genre. I mean, just look at Get Out and Us. I mean, that's the only thing I can look at when it comes to horror for him. He's phenomenal. I really wish, and I'm fine with whoever, I can't remember her name, that's directed Candyman, but when I heard he was attached to Candyman, I was like, oh my, perfect. But I'm looking forward to seeing Candyman either way. But Jordan Peele, I'll watch anything that man makes.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder too, but Zack Snyder, I mean, he's going to throw a lot of bass drops and freaking.
Yeah, Zack's better for bigger films.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's a blockbuster guy, even though, I know he could do whatever he wanted, but his style doesn't lend itself to Halloween. Whereas Jordan Peele, so much of what he does, he's so inspired by The Shining and stuff like that I think his style, his pacing, would be actually right up Halloween's alley.
He could definitely make a creepy slasher Halloween throwback film of his own if he wanted to. He's got the chops to write something like that if he wanted to.
I'd love to see Flanagan take it on, because I thought Hush was an excellent kind of Halloween style.
I mean, speaking of Flanagan, I mean, he and James Wan and Jordan Peele they're starting to be the current generation of the great horror directors. So
I remember after Rob, did 2, there was rumors of Aja doing the third
Oh,
part,
that would be insane.
and I would have loved to seen Alexander Aja do Halloween, but
Well, maybe one day. Maybe after this trilogy, they'll get wild and start doing some crazy stuff. Let us have our great, what do they call that in the Loki show? The perfect timeline. What do they call that? I don't remember. Loki's been a disappointment to me, but anyway, yeah, Jordan Peele. It would be awesome to do a Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Hush was a love letter to Halloween. Yeah, I need to watch that. I haven't seen that in a long time. That was a good one.
Yeah, he understood. Like you could see in that movie, he knows the genre, he knows the tropes, he knows how to make it work, and it was a very strong entry in slashers. That's probably a little underrated or very underrated.
Well, you never hear about it, so it's extremely underrated. As a matter of fact, we haven't talked about that even on our top 25 of the last, or of the 2010s. That easily could have made it. I think I forgot about it, honestly.
Was it even ever released physically?
That's a great question. Was it a Netflix movie?
I think so. And I don't even know if Netflix still has it.
That's a good question. I'm gonna look it up real fast because
I'd like to watch it again.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Have you ever seen the Gwyneth Paltrow movie Hush? It's still on Netflix. Yeah. So no, it was never. That's probably why we never talk about it. Oh, that's Kate Siegel from.
Yeah, she was the writer of the. She was married. I don't know if she still is. She was Mike's wife.
Well, that makes total sense because she was in the Haunting of Hill House and yeah, she's good actually.
Yeah, she wrote Hush, if I remember right.
Yeah, I might watch that tonight. I was gonna watch Assault on Precinct 13, but I guess I'll have to wait. Mike Flanagan, yeah, they both wrote it together. Flanagan and Sid, cool. It's a cool movie. I definitely. Yeah, it is still on Netflix.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to show my daughter that one. That.
Yes, I've seen The Collector and The Collection. Have you?
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of those.
They were okay. I think there needs to be one more. I compare It Follows to Halloween 1949.
It Follows reminded me of Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. It felt like those films because the kids have this thing that's after them that they can't go to sleep, they can't stop.
Yeah.
And they can't go to the parents about it because no one's going to believe them. So there was very much a Nightmare on Elm Street feeling towards the theme and the figure of the wraith or whatever the hell it is, and it felt like Halloween because of the suburban, the aesthetic, the atmosphere that he used. That was part of the appeal to that movie. It just felt like my two favorite horror movies of that era, A Halloween Nightmare, and I felt, and just another excellent film.
It's another one of those movies that gets kind of pooped on by the horror fans as not being. It's one of our favorites. What was it? Number one? I think it was our number one of the 2010s.
I believe it was.
Yeah. If Byron, if you check out our YouTube channel, we've got top 25s from the 2010s, the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, and the 70s. I believe It Follows was number one. Who should direct a Halloween films in the near future? It depends on what they do. Fede Alvarez would be interesting. I don't know. I think Mike Flanagan or Jordan Peele would be fun.
All those guys would be.
Adam Wingard would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those guys would be good.
Did you say Michael Bailiff?
Yeah.
He did The Witching Season?
Yeah.
I would dig that. He's a good director. He's actually a good director. But yeah. I think, is there anything else you want to say about this before we hang it up?
Not really. I don't know much about the film. I know Seth is a guy that knows a lot about it. Yeah, I don't like reading leaked scripts or anything any information that's out there. So I don't like spoilers, and I don't like to know what the film is because, I've made films and I know how much you put into keeping things secret and how much you put into manipulating your audience. And and keeping them invested. And to me, like, if you know what's going to happen, I mean, wow, what's the point of watching? And
Yeah.
you kind of rob yourself of that experience, and you rob the filmmaker of all the work they put in to keep that shit from you. And so I don't like to read up or learn as much. I try to stay away from it. I will watch trailers, but you know, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. But as far as the like trying to guess what's going to happen and all the fan theories, I think in many ways, I think that ruins a lot of films nowadays. Of all the, I think we're going to see all the expectations and the theories, and when the film comes out and those things aren't there, people seem to get really pissed off that they're not there,
Yeah.
and it kind of hurts their overall feeling where they're like, well, I thought this was going to happen, and I thought this would, and then it didn't, and like so it sucked, but people don't watch the movie that's there. They expect the movie that they have in their head, and if it isn't there, then they're like, oh. And I think you watch the movie waiting to see the things you're expected instead of just
Well, it's that checklist
experiencing
mentality
it. Yeah.
that we've talked about. Yeah, I mean, that was what happened with the Star Wars trilogy, the newest Star Wars trilogy. There was a checklist mentality, and there were a lot of different leaks and fan theories. And yeah, I mean, I like listening to BS, you know, just to BS around, just to hear it. But yeah, like especially with these Marvel shows, you get that. But,
Oh yeah,
I hope this
my
is
daughter. My daughter and I were just talking about WandaVision and how everyone was expecting this character to show
Yeah.
up, or it was Mephisto, or it was an X-Men character, or Reed Richards was going to show up, and then when it didn't, everybody was like, "That sucked." I'm like, "But no, it didn't. It was never about them. But you made it about them. The fans
Yeah.
made it about that." And so for a lot of those fans, they were like bummed by, and really what is a masterpiece in that whole thing. Like that's one of the best things Marvel's produced.
It's my favorite of the three shows, which I expected,
easily. Yeah.
Yeah, I've expected Falcon and Winter Soldier because I'm a big Captain America fan. The director of Terrifier, I'd rather him just keep making Terrifier movies. Damien Leone. Let's just keep him in his wheelhouse. Art
Yeah.
is a total different animal in my opinion. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's more of a Friday the 13th area there.
Yeah, kind of.
It's really, I mean, Terrifier to me really focused on the killing and the gore and the brutality, which is not what Myers is about. Even though we're talking about how brutal this movie is, Halloween is something a little different. So,
Sacred timeline. It's called the Sacred Timeline. Sorry for Loki. Yeah, this might be the Sacred Timeline. Although I'm a big fan of 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. That's my favorite timeline. And we did a bunch of Halloween episodes that are on our YouTube channel as well that last October. I asked already, but is there any last words about the trailer? Are you stoked? I'm stoked. Yeah. Can't wait to watch it with the crowd.
Yeah.
So we will be back on Thursday talking about the Paranormal Activity movies. Seth and Jared should be back with us. Nate, thanks for jumping on real fast.
Yep.
This was a fun trailer. I can't wait to watch Halloween Kills in the theater. And we'll probably do a review show after it comes out in October. I hopefully we'll all get the chance to see it at the same time or around the same time that first weekend and talk about it the following week on our show, the Horror Syndicate Discourse. So hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube and tell your friends about the Horror Syndicate. We're cool. Have a nice night. Nate, have a good weekend.
You too.
And we'll see you on Thursday.